what can be better than a full trolley load of wonderful plants like this? Well, what are the mistakes that can be made by buying a trolley load of plants like this when you are going to do a new border or fill in gaps in a border that you've already got? Now, you're buying these from your local nursery, best place really, or your garden centre, but beware of those common mistakes. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. If you enjoy our videos, please do subscribe to the channel. So you've been wooed by a load of colour, and all of these colours look great mixed together, and you're going to take them home and put them in your border. And what have you gone and done? You've gone and chosen the wrong plants for the wrong position, because basically, what is your soil type? Well, how much sun is it going to get? How much shade is it going to get? Now, these three look really good together. You've got a lovely purpley coloured wallflower there. You've got a beautiful yellow verbascum here, and you've got a wonderful blue Nepeta here. However, your Nepeta here wants to go in the shade. Your Erysimum here wants to go in the sun, and so does your Verbascum. So you're left with two plants that can go in the same position, which is not really what you wanted. Then you've got this combination here where you've got this lovely yellow plate of the Achillea, you've got the beautiful Anchusa, and you've got a stonking looking Astrantia there. Now, of these, this wants full sun and free draining. So that actually would go with the three that you've got there. The Achillea again, it's a grey leafed form. So that needs to go over here in full sun as well. So that means you've got four plants which will go in a sunny position. May not be what your bed is. The Astrantia wants to go part chaser, but it wants damp soil. These will tolerate drier soil. So your combination of 6 has ended up being a combination of 4 and a combination of 2. Now that might be all well and good because you have actually got spaces for some of those, but you wanted to put all of these together because you liked the combination of colours going through. So, you know, you would have had this sort of combination in your mind of what you are wanting to grow together, because those colours all look great together. They're all going to do well, but they won't grow in the same position in the garden. So you would end up with a totally different looking effect from what you actually wanted. You know, these ones would be all going together, and then these two would have to go somewhere else, or you may not have a damp enough spot for the Astrantia, or a bit which is shady enough for this type of Nepeta, or you may not have enough full sun or free draining for these plants. So this is a very big common mistake that is made by people in being wowed by the fact that these colours all look great together when you mix them up and you put them out on the ground or in your trolley, and you think, oh, I can put all those together. And then you get home and you suddenly realise, I haven't actually got the conditions for these to grow in. And, you know, so that is something you have to make. So yes, it is fine if you're just buying, say, one plant. So say you were wowed by the fact that you've got this beautiful Verbascum Gainsborough, this lovely lemon yellow, and you've only got to find it a home. That is not so difficult. But when you've got all of them and you've got to put them all in, and you haven't got the space for one or two of them because they're not going to be happy, or you're going to have to continually, you know, you could push these two to going a bit more sunny, but you'd be continually having to make sure that they were watered and looking after. That's not always the best thing to do. So to make your life easier when you're buying plants, and I'm saying, don't worry, I do it. I will see a plant and go, I've got to have that, and get home and then work out where I'm going to put it. And I know a lot of people do, but when you're buying a lot of plant material or you're just starting off, then do try and make sure that you are actually getting the plants which will go in, one, your soil conditions, two, the amount of light that they are going to get, and three, that you're going to enjoy. Don't just choose them because they look great and you love the look of them. That's not always the best way of choosing a plant for your garden. Another mistake that can often happen is that people are planting at set times in the year. So they go out in the spring and they see beautiful spring plants without realising that that is just going to be literally the spring planting time. So you are not going to get much interest out of those plants, especially if with a lot of spring plants whereby they are summer deciduous. So by summer deciduous, I mean that they flower brilliantly in the early spring, so they'll be flowering February, March, maybe into April, and then they die completely back down and you won't see them again, and they don't reappear or come back into life until the winter, early spring again. So you lose a whole patch. Sometimes some of those early spring flowers will give you leaf going through, so that's okay, and you can choose certain things that will do that. Conversely, if you're planting in the autumn, you get a lot of stuff that is autumn flowering plants, which means you have a hole in the middle of the summer. So this is something you need to be aware of when you're starting a border. What is going to be your interest? Have a small amount of interest in the spring, have a reasonable amount of interest in the summer, and then have another lot of interest in the autumn. Now you can do it in thirds, so you can have third spring, third summer, third autumn, that's fine, but you also need a little bit of winter interest, so I would say you need a few evergreens in there as well. And you can get evergreen perennials, they will create a lovely mound. You can get a few evergreen shrubs, so you get a mixture of things that are going in there. But remember, if you're buying at one certain time in the year, think about what that plant is going to do for the rest of the year. It's fine having a lot of the spring stuff that dies back down, because you can have summer stuff that comes over and won't interrupt the growing of those spring plants. But it is key to remember this. So you will find that some people will suddenly say, oh, I've got really good spring and I've got really good, but I haven't got anything in summer. And that's because of the way that they have planted. They haven't thought about the fact that they want a bit more interest in the summer as well, or they want interest in the autumn. So think about those things when you are choosing plants, especially for a new border. If your new border is only going to be seen at a certain time of the year, absolutely fine, then just go for one lot of planting. But it is a key thing, and it's often a lot of the mistakes are made that people don't think about the continuity through the time and through the year. Now, if you're really interested in how to plant up and how to redo a new border, then why not take a look at our border course? The border course will take you through step by step, looking at your soil, looking at your aspect, then working out how many plants you need for an area, and looking into all of these different things. Do take a look at the border course. Now, another thing with choosing plants for a new border or filling in is that people go and choose too many, or they plant too many. So basically what they're doing is they are having plant material and they are putting it so close together when they plant it all that, there is not room for the plants to grow out. So you're putting it in so that you've got an instant effect. So everything is looking really good. You've got all the ground filled up and it's all there, great. Having all of this material, there it is, really full straight away. But what about when those plants get bigger? What's going to happen? It's all very well having that border filled initially, but there's no room for your plants to grow. And if you have plants that are going to grow bigger and they grow over the top of other things like this, you'll probably find that it crowds out and you lose plants. So that is really quite key. And then you get plants such as this wonderful Echinacea, and the Echinaceas really do not like being crowded out. They want to have their own elbow room, so they want to be planted so they've got a space. And then if you're going to put a plant behind them, and it wouldn't be that, if you're going to put a plant behind them, it is at a good distance away. So you remember your planting distances. It's not putting everything right up close together like this so that it is all full up and there are no spaces in the border, because all that will happen there is the plants which are bigger are just going to take over, and this one's not going to be happy at all. So don't do that cramped effect. Make sure that you're putting the plants in with enough space around them so that there is space and there is airflow, because that's another thing. If you have your plants too close together and we get some dull days and it's, you know, sticky and humid, that's when you get your diseases and things coming in. So allowing airflow around through your plants, especially newly planted plants, is really key to keeping and, you know, doing your border. So choosing enough but not too many plants is really what you need to be looking at, and that is key to, you know, having the border looking full later. So when you put them in, yes, it's going to look newly planted, and then they will expand, fill their space, and then it will look much more natural and take effect. Choosing plants when they're in containers can be quite a difficult thing to know how big they're going to get. So for instance, you might have something like this beautiful little Campanula here, and you would look at that and think, oh, it's just low growing, it's not going to get. But this is actually quite a thuggy little plant, and it will grow out and go really quite a long way and spread itself all over the place. Is that what you want? So be aware, or ask and find out with plants like this, because this is going to make a carpet. You can always tell once you tip it out of the actual container. Can you see how much this is growing away here? Now, if this was in the ground, that would be spreading rather than going around the pot like this. So all of these pieces would be spreading out and you would get a massive carpet. Now, maybe that is what you want, but you need to be aware. So it looks really quite demure, but it's going to get really quite big. So that is one that's going to spread. And then this one here, which is a beautiful Oenothera. This is an evening primrose. It's a pink one. It's really lovely, but again it is spreading out all over the place. So it also puts on, as you can see here, all of these shoots here. So all of these, if they were in the ground, would have gone that much further and then that much further again. So this will run around all over the place. It's a lovely plant, but you need to have it in the right place. So be aware. Conversely, you get something like this, which looks quite lovely, and this is a Cynara cardunculus, but it is going to spread its wings and it's going to come out and be something that is at least 1.5 meters with its foliage, and then it's going to be 1.5 meters plus with its flower. Do you have the space for it? So these are considerations when you are buying plants like that, and they will go on. Achilleas like this, the milfoil types, which want to be in a sunnyish position, will spread. So, you've got to look at things like that. This Begonia, for instance, which wants to go in the shade, it will spread, but also it drops little bulbils and then it spreads by little plantlets all over the place. Are you ready for that to happen with your plants? Or even things like this grass, Stipa tenuissima here, which self-seeds around all over the place. That's what grasses do. And it's beautiful, but are you ready for that? Are you going to be able to cope with the self-seeding? Are you going to be able to cope with the bulbils on this? And that wants shade, that wants sun, those want sun, that wants sun, and that wants sun. So they all want specific requirements, but they're also going to get quite large. So have you got enough space for those to spread into? Are you going to be able to cope with them? And this is one of those ones when I go back to that point of, you know, they are going to get really big. If you've gone and planted something quite close to it, it is going to overshadow a lot of plant material. So you do need to allow it space to grow. So that is something to be aware of when you are choosing your plants. This is all about choice of plants, where you're going to put them, what you're going to do, and have you chosen the right plant for the border that you are doing? Have you just gone for the fact that, oh, I like these colours together? Not always the best solution. It can work, but you then have to work out where they're going to go. So, you know, go with an idea. Yes, you want blue, you want yellow, you want red, that's fine, but then get plants of those colours and tones that will go together. What you need to take away from this video is the fact that it is right plant, right place, and that is just easy. Does the plant want to go in shade? Does the plant want to go in sun? Does it need a moist soil? Will it tolerate clay or sandy soils? Those are the considerations that you need to take in. Then on top of that, is the plant a thug? I.e., is it going to get really huge and get really big? So you need to give it space. It may look really small in the pot, such as this, but it's going to run around. Or it may seed around like this grass. You know, all of this is seed at the end of the day. So you've got to remember those sorts of things. Also, is the plant like this beautiful salvia here? And this salvia is half hardy. So are you going to be planting all of these plants, and then are you going to need to lift some of them and protect them, or are you going to have to protect them, or are you going to have to take cuttings from them? So choosing your plants wisely. I mean, this is a beautiful salvia. It's a salvia patens, pink ice, but it does require protection for the winter. So that's another consideration that you've got to look at with these plants. There are other things which, you know, look beautiful. This beautiful Trollius and this wonderful Cirsium, for instance, they want a bit more moisture. So it is just finding the things that you want. Are you on a windy site? Would these get bashed around too much? Therefore, you're going to need to get things which are a bit sturdier and a bit lower down. And all of these considerations are something that you need. Or are you in a really shady site, in which case things like the Begonia, the Astrantia, that Nepeta are all going to be good for you as well. So these things need to be thought about. I know it's lovely to go and get all of this, and this is a lovely array of colours and heights and leaf shapes, but they're not all going to grow in exactly the same positions. So that is what you need to think about. What is your site? Right plant, right place. You will have wonderful success. Enjoy going out and choosing plants, because there's nothing better than going out there and finding something new that will go in your garden. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.